Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another speed build here on the channel. Now, you're probably already realizing this one started off really weird with a bunch of stuff just laying on the ground here. Basically to save on time and also just not to be really boring at the very start of the video. I just went through the little catalog from bb.show live edit objects to pick out some things and just set them on the floor instead of having to edit through me scrolling through there, because that's a really lot of stuff in that little debug menu once you put that cheat in. And on top of that, I would have to be editing it out, then showing me building the structure, editing some more out, building the structure. So instead of doing that, I just put all the stuff that I thought I'd be using potentially in a pile over there, and then started building it and started the recording from there. So yeah, it just saved on a little bit of time. I do have to go back in that catalog a few more times, just a little bit, but it didn't take as long, and especially since I knew that I was going to be needing a lot of objects to do what I was planning on doing. So yeah, it's sort of saved on time here for the video, and made it not so boring to watch me put all this stuff together. But anyway, this building is actually a pull build for a collab, actually, that I am participating in, that is part of the Sim streamers and YouTubers little Facebook thing that they got going on. There's quite a few people part of it if you don't know what it is, but it's basically a group on Facebook where we're all simmers and stuff. We all have channels, like Twitch channels and YouTube channels and things like that. And we all sort of show up, post our videos there, help each other out if we have questions, and just all along that thing. We have things like Throwback, I know they do a Throwback Thursday. I think there's a Review Wednesday where people sort of help each other out, give them yeah, you're doing this really well, and if you did this, maybe it'd be a little bit better, helpful hints and suggestions, basically, type stuff. And they actually do little monthly collabs. One is always a cast one, and one is always a build and buy one. And I decided to participate in this month's build and buy one. I normally lean towards the cast stuff more than build and buy, but lately I've been enjoying doing build and buy, and also this one I just wanted to do the build and buy more than I did the cast that they had going on, which is basically building a pull lot venue and having fun with that for the all summery vibe, since it's sort of July. I know in some places it's probably not as summery in July as it is in other places, but because I know that with the different locations, and depending on if you're more towards the northern or southern hemisphere and stuff like that, things like that sort of are almost opposite or change. So, but for a lot of people that I personally follow and talk to and chat with, it is more towards the summer thing. So this is sort of what it is. It's like a summer theme going on here. And just to real quickly sort of go over the rule sets of this before I get in depth with my sort of view and vision for this particular build. You could use any packs, and you can even use CC. I choose not to use CC in most of my builds, except for every once in a while I'll do a build with CC. That's because I do plan on uploading them to the gallery, and I want people to be able to download them, and being able to try to get all the same CC as someone that uses it in their builds is a lot harder than a cast video and things like that. So I tend to just avoid CC when I know that I'm going to actually upload the build to the gallery. So I did not use any CC, but if you are part of this group and are potentially thinking about doing a future build thing, or you want to join this group, they do allow CC. So just to let you know. And it must be a pull type lot. If you could tell, I'm actually building this in the Bluffs, and I will tell why I'm building this in the Bluffs for my little story for myself. As for the build that's going to be up on the gallery, it actually will be the pull lot type. With the Bluffs, it actually won't let you put the pull lot type when you build something on the Bluffs, just because it's supposed to be a special lot venue. But I have saved it to my gallery, replaced it on another lot, changed it to a pull lot, and then uploaded that version to the gallery. So it will be up on the gallery as a pull. You can put it anywhere that is a 30 by 30 lot. So it doesn't have to be in Windenburg, but that's where I built it, in Windenburg on the Bluffs, but it can fit on any 30 by 30 lot or a lot that is a bigger size, obviously. So yeah, it's a fully functioning pool, so everything that a pool requires is here on this lot, plus a little extra. And it also had to be usable by everyone, and they put in like parentheses and toddlers, so it was more of just to make sure that there's things for Sims to do, even the toddler Sims, something for everyone and all ages to enjoy, which is why you'll see that I include little toddler pools, I include a toddler slide, I even have like a swing set, the monkey bars type thing, I have lounger chairs, and a lot of seating for like, you know, even the elderly Sims who may not really get in the pool so much, to be able to sit and watch their grandkids play or whatever, or lounge around. There's also a fountain that you can technically play in, sit around, chat. There is the little barbecue pit from Island Living, and places to sit and eat. So there's quite a few different things for Sims to do other than just the pool, and it is stuff for all ages to do. Now, if you are interested in joining this group, or you're already part of this group, and you may be interested in joining one of the like these little monthly collab events in the future, and you haven't done one yet, they usually do set dates that you have to join by, usually pretty early on in the month. They do require a certain amount to continue on with the collab. Obviously, this one did hit that requirement, and everyone is supposed to upload their videos on the same day, which in this case is going to be June 27th, so you should be seeing this on June 27th or after it, because depending on which day you decide to watch it. There's no particular time on that day, but I mean July, why did I say June? There's no particular time that you're supposed to upload it, because time zones would make that a horrible nightmare, but yeah, there usually is a date to actually upload it by, and it's sometimes different depending on if you're doing the cast or you're doing the build event, and just in general, it's a lot of times on different days. Also, when you sign up, you do give all your social media links that you want included in a big giant list, and they actually will make like a list. They're supposed to make a list for us to actually be able to easily copy and move over for everyone to actually be able to put the links in their descriptions. So definitely check out the people who are also participating in this collab down in the description below. I do know that where someone else is setting this up, it will just be like straight to their YouTube or their Twitch or whatever, but if they have the video up by the time that I go to upload this, and I'll try to come back and refresh it as well, depending on the time zones, depends on if they're up before mine or not, but I will try to also get a direct link to their particular video of this collab, so their particular pool design. So definitely check that out in the description below. But now time to move on my decisions for how I built this pool. So I actually already had this pool in mind, I just hadn't got around to it. I really wanted to try to build a Mystic Spring-esque type pool, which is what this is actually going to be called, as Mystic Springs. I've had this idea in my head for the longest of time. I just didn't know exactly how I was going to go about it, and just the base idea that it was more of a spring-like thing, and it was sort of more fantasy, magical, almost feel to it. So the fact that this collab popped up, I was actually like, yeah, this is the time. I'm gonna make my, like, Mystic Springs an idea finally. And I actually have, like, a full-on backstory for this lot. One, I really like backstories, but also, just the fact that it does look the way it is, I feel like it needs one. So, like I said, I did build this on the bluffs in Windenburg. If you, have ever played in Windenburg, you actually see that it's got like little castle or like old building ruins laying around all over the place, and in particular the bluffs has a really huge wall back there in behind where the spring is at in this particular build. So in my thought process back in really ye olden days, they actually came across this spring and seen that it had like this magical feel to it. And I do want to say that it still has a magical feel to it, just not as much as maybe they came across it. But back in those days when they came across this, they thought it was like some mystical, healing, keeps you younger type spring, or heals all wounds, that sort of type thing. So they came across this building around it to sort of protect it, sort of sealed it off from people, like you had to have like some permission to get up here, and eventually when stuff started dying out and things started changing and these ruins eventually well, these castles and buildings eventually slowly started becoming ruins because people wasn't using them anymore, people had moved away or whatever. Eventually the spring got, like, sealed away and sort of hidden away, but at this point it has been retrieved. Like, they've been able to clear stuff away, and they've decided, they know that they've come across the old stories about this place, but they've decided to actually open this up to the public. They do keep a, like, hardcore maintaining it, making sure it stays pristine as much as it can be, and clean and everything like that. Like, there's rules set in place because it is almost like a historical type thing. So it is, you know, sort of protected in some ways. It is a huge find, but they still want to be able to share this beautiful and lovely area as to the public as well. So, something to do. So it is opened up as a pool type thing, and it is made for all generations to enjoy and have fun with. If you ever download this and you sort of almost want to go with the sort of theme that maybe it does have some sort of healing powers, especially if you have, like, Realm of Magic. So you already have magic in your world, you can go with that, so you can cheat your Sims' health, like, needs back up, or if they're sick, make them not be sick anymore, or whatever. But, other than that, it's just sort of, it's really pretty, and it does have this magical feel, and it's sort of, in my head, relaxing and calming, but not so maybe as much as, like, going on to the healing roots like the olden days thought they were. But as you can tell, even with that one area, they did try to keep some of the ruins, because I was going with, you know, at one point, yeah, there was buildings and stuff, like there was the huge building protected, but even underneath that, there was some small buildings. Sort of went with the idea that probably that was like a cleansing area, since, you know, back then they thought that this was like special waters, they needed to keep it pure and clean. You had to cleanse yourself before you even went into the water, but that building, of course, is now since fallen down, and what's remaining of that building, they actually use it to sort of like section off a little toddler area with the toddler pools, and have like little seats and stuff in there so that the mothers and fathers and grandmas and grandpas can watch the toddlers play in the pool. So yeah, I do sort of have like this whole story and like big reasons to why I did the way that I did things. Originally, I actually didn't even want to include a building on this lot, but because of the fact that I was trying to treat it like a pool, and in reality that would make sense to, even if I just left it as a Mystic Spring type thing, it would almost make sense to still have this around here. Now, the Bluffs originally did have a pool, but the way that pool looked was definitely looked more man-made. It didn't look like it was like some natural structure, so I tried to make this look as much like a natural structure as possibly, like the pool area anyway. Like, it wasn't man-made, but the one that the Bluffs originally had did. But people, because if you do decide to set this in the Bluffs, people will go and swim like it's a normal pool area, even if it's not set as a pool area, because the Bluffs originally had a pool. So that won't be an issue. Like, they won't, like, try to swim or, like, recognize it as a pool necessarily, because the Bluffs already had one. Obviously, like I said, if you want to, talking about downloading it, technically, it will be up on the gallery if you want to download it. Again, 30 by 30 lot if you don't want to put it in the Bluffs, or if you don't have Windenburg, so you don't have to get together. You can just set it on a 30 by 30 lot, and it will still work. You won't have to change it from a pool if you do that. But if you want to put it back on the Bluffs, it will actually try to change it automatically to the Bluffs thing, because you're not supposed to. The Bluffs is one of the lots that is automatically set to something, and you can't really change it. I forgot about that when I first started building, so early on I went and made sure that I could put it on another lot and change it to a pool, and then upload it to gallery. So I made sure that I could do that before I went too far in this build. So the one that's going to be on the gallery is the pool. It's going to be called Mystic Spring, so you can find it by searching that, or go to ArtisticGamer7, which is my origin ID. Now, I did not limit myself to packs. Obviously, like I said, for the challenge rules, you could use any packs that you wanted to. And to go for the full vibe that I wanted for this, because I was very, very much into trying to go for a certain vibe for this, and I was very, like, excited about doing this build, in all honesty. So I did not limit myself between packs. I definitely know there's some packs that are not in here. There's no way that I used all the packs. I do know Island Living is strongly in here, the Seasons, the toddler stuff, Realm of Magic, because the little glowing orbs that you see around the Mystic Springs is actually from Realm of Magic, but it's in the Show Live Edit Objects sheet. There's definitely some the romantic stuff pack, which was one of the stuff packs I use the plants from so often. So, and like Get to Work, obviously Get Together has a big influence pack in here. I definitely know those are the biggest ones. They're potentially, or easily probably not the only ones, but I do know those are the biggest ones. But if you don't have certain packs, you can actually click on the gallery, the individual pack icons, and then click to see, it should be like over on the right side of the box, to see what items are from that pack are in here, so you can sort of get an idea whether or not you can replace those items yourself easily with other pack stuff that you might have, or even CC stuff that you might have. But for this particular build, I wasn't even trying to remotely hinder which stuff I use, because I just went crazy with this build, and I had so much fun with this build. I loved how this build turned out so much. so much. My fantasy, like the fantasy side of my brain that likes stuff like that, had a field day with this build. And this build looks really beautiful at night because of the Realm of Magic little glowy orb things, and the gemstones, and some of the alien like plant stuff from Get to Work. Just make it at night look really, really beautiful. I hate on the gallery, it actually shows the back of the building instead of like the other side, the side where you can see the spring better. So that sort of annoys me on the gallery. It doesn't look as pretty as I wish it did in that picture, but oh well, whatever. Anyway, I did try to make it look as pretty as possible and sort of mystical, but also like it's actually loved and enjoyed by the people in the area and in the community. So I definitely still try to make it look like, you know, they're walking around. Like I made these little more dirt like pathways and stuff like that where feet would be used more often, but still try to make it look fitting for the theme I was going with. Even the building that I had to add, I tried to still make it look like it went with Winning Bird, which has still got that like older feel to it, but still try to bring with the flowers and the plants that I put around it that sort of fantasy magical vibe going around to it. Now this building is gonna have the bathrooms and the showers in it, because for the pool lot you're required to have like one shower and one toilet, which is weird that you're only required one of each. But with like public pools and stuff I've been to, and the fact that with my little backstory for this, that they were trying to make this truly a public pool swimming area for many to enjoy, I made it to where there's 2 separate rooms with 3 bathrooms, 3 toilets on each side, and then 4 showers on each side. And when you go to public pools, a lot of times there are a lot of showers, because to wipe off the chlorine or whatever's in the water, and at beaches, a lot of times it's salt, and different things like that. And technically Windenburg does have a few beach areas. I don't think where the Bluffs is located you actually have any access to a beachy area, but it's right close. It's technically an island, and it's really close to the island that you can actually have Sims living on, which does do have some beachy areas. But so you could even still say that they're trying to get sand off or whatever's in this mystic water. Maybe you don't really want to get that off, but still, you might want to get it off at the same time. If you look in the bottom of it, there's some weird plant life growing in it, because it is supposed to be at least somewhat magical. So I have like these weird plant life growing in it. So you don't know. Now in the version that you see built here, I do make some changes to the version that's going to be up on the gallery. For one of the things that the pool lot requires is 4 dining chairs, but it doesn't require any tables, so that's sort of weird. But all the chairs that I sat did not count as dining chairs, except for the 2 that are at the table. And I only put 2. I knew there were supposed to be 4, but I was hoping the picnic would technically count as something, but it does not. The picnic table does not count as it, so I do add another dining table, like a little square table, and 2 more chairs to it. And I did test everything in here, because when I put that waterfall in, it looks like the area it takes up is the whole place. So I wasn't sure how exactly the Sims interacted with that, and with how some of these objects are sitting. Wasn't sure, so I've tested. I'm pretty sure everything. You can take a shower, you can use the bathrooms, you can swing on the swing set. I couldn't test the toddler slide, but I did test the toddler pools, the benches, the little salami barbecue pit, because I put the pit in because I thought it seemed better than putting a grill, because I thought it felt with the vibe more. And you can get in the pool, you can use the dive board, everything. I do have to move the dive board, and I even have to move the tree that's behind the swing in the other version, so those two things are slightly moved, but that's only to make the swing actually work and the diving platform actually work as well, because those wasn't originally working. And trying to get those curtains up in front of those showers was annoying, because I had to delete walls, because curtains auto sync to walls, so to get that to work, I had to delete them and then put them back. But anyway, you should be seeing screenshots now. I hope you really like this build. I absolutely love this build so much. I enjoyed doing this build immensely and am so happy with the outcome. So I really hope that you like it too. I sort of hope you like the little story that I put in with it as well. Again, make sure to check out the people down in the description below and check out their builds as well. If you like this video, please hit that lovely like button and subscribe so that you don't miss future builds and other videos as well. And also hit the notification bell so you're notified when those videos go live or go up or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!